Why is it that when everything seems to be going flawlessly, things suddenly, and without warning, stop working? It leaves us with questions that rarely have satisfying answers. How much of our success or failure is dictated by blind, random chance? And how much do we actually influence these outcomes ourselves? To understand the mechanics of success, we have to look at this diagram, mapping out two completely opposite trajectories of human experience. One path glides smoothly upward, only to eventually flatline. The other starts with sharp, chaotic drops before steadily clawing its way up. By comparing these two extremes, what happens when an individual is handed all the luck in the world versus someone who is given absolutely none, we can start to untangle what really drives human achievement. Consider a writer who started life with every possible advantage. He was the first child of parents who dreamed of a large, united family. He grew up surrounded by more than he needed, and his only real job was to be the best at everything he tried, using his writing to carve out a quiet space of independence. This flowchart maps out the lucky accident that launched his career. One morning, he met Beatrice. She showed his writing to Jack. Jack couldn't stop reading it, so he showed it to Celine. Celine was touched and passed it to Professor Pingot. Pingot showed it to Mr. Connor, who happened to own a major publisher. In an instant, the book was rushed to print, and multiple editions sold out. He reached the peak of his industry without ever having to fight a single battle to get there. But this frictionless ascent created a massive problem. When it came time to write his next book, he completely froze. He suffered from what he described as a vertigo in heights. He felt entirely disconnected from his own achievements. He became terrified that his fame was a fluke and that he actually possessed no talent at all. When your entire career is built on a lucky alignment of external forces, you are left powerless to replicate that success. When inspiration, or luck, inevitably leaves without explanation, you are left staring at a blank page. Now look at the other trajectory. A girl who started her life at the exact opposite end of the privilege spectrum. She had a happy early childhood that was systematically dismantled. First, she lost her grandfather, then her grandmother. One by one, every piece of her familial stability faded away, leaving her completely alone in a large city. She was forced into a daily struggle for basic survival. Things briefly stabilized when she found work at Mr. Yusuf's greengrocer, but severe hunger eventually cost her that position. She was completely out of options. When the environment around you provides a relentless stream of misfortune, how do you find any forward momentum? Unlike the writer, she couldn't afford to view luck as a random, benevolent gift. She had to treat chance as a hostile force, something she needed to actively anticipate and outmaneuver. She began engineering her own opportunities. Her first move was taking a menial job hauling hair for wigs to the actresses at a nearby theater. The pay barely mattered. The goal was simply to force physical proximity to the stage. Once inside the building, she didn't just drop off the bags and leave. She listened. She secretly memorized the lead actress's entire script, line by line, on the off chance an opportunity presented itself. When random chance struck, the lead actress missing rehearsal, she was ready. Here, proactive preparation intersects with chance, creating manufactured luck. She immediately reinvested her acting payments into a bicycle, increasing mobility for theater school and package delivery. That delivery job was a calculated long-term maneuver. During her darkest periods, she had read a specific book over and over again to survive. By working at the delivery company, she knew she would eventually get the chance to drop a package at that exact author's house. She looked at her unfavorable circumstances and treated each one as a problem to be solved through specific, targeted actions. Eventually, those two opposing trajectories collided. The delivery girl stood at the door of the paralyzed writer, holding a box for him to sign for. Invited inside for coffee, the writer admitted his deepest insecurities. He confessed his creative block, fearing that his fame was a fluke detached from real talent. She revealed her identity. She was an actress and a playwright, about to star in her first leading role. The script she had written, and her own survival in difficult times, had been directly inspired by the writer's book. Hearing this shattered the writer's paralysis. For months he had been spiraling in isolation, doubting his worth. Now, standing right in front of him with undeniable, objective evidence that his words had carried a stranger through her darkest moments. This tangible evidence of his influence gave the writer a reason to trust his own abilities again. After she left, the writer looked closely at the package she had brought. When he opened the box, he found absolutely nothing inside. The delivery was a complete fabrication. It was a Trojan horse she had engineered solely to cross the threshold of his home and meet the person whose work had helped her. As she told him right before walking out the door, sometimes you have to help luck a little bit. These two lives show us that the universe will always deal wildly unequal hands of fortune, privilege, and tragedy. The starting line is never fair. Lasting success grows from the specific, deliberate choices we make to prepare for the moments when they finally arrive.